you doing? Let's play some guitar today. I'm Josh with Music Maker. Please do follow the YouTube channel here, subscribe to it, do all that stuff. And if you like what's going on, please leave a comment on what other topics you'd like to discuss in here. But I'm going to try and run today's video kind of like I do a lesson. I'll do like a mini version of a lesson since I don't have anybody really asking questions in my living room here. But my most asked question when I'm out in lessons is, hey man, how do I get into playing modes? Like, how do I do it, and what are they? So let's talk about that a little bit. There's actually a whole bunch of different sets of modes, and I have them all outlined in sort of I call it the packet of doom when I give it to guitar players on day one, because it's a packet that includes your beginning pentatonic scales as well as your major minor modes, melodic minor, harmonic major, and double harmonic major. Plus it also lays out all of the different kinds of triads and seventh chords that we work with. Does not include the extensions yet. One of these days I'll get that all written up too, but I usually find that by the time you understand all of that other stuff, extensions, the tensions, 9s, 11s, and 13s become pretty self-apparent. You're able to figure them out pretty quickly. So that said, that's kind of what that packet includes. If you're interested in the packet, please do find me at musicmakerlessons.com. Sign up for the lesson. Even if you don't pay for the full thing, you can do the free intro lesson. Get me your email address, and I'll send you that packet. But if you don't sign up for the lesson, I can't give you the packet. Sorry. It's my secret. I'm going to hold on to it for now. That said, let's go over some of what is in there and talk about the modes a little bit. So what are the modes? Basically, I kind of look at modes like you look at inversions of a chord on a piano, right? And I don't have a piano here, but if you have a C chord, right, it's C, E, G. But you could play the C that's here, move it up to an octave higher, and play that, and that's a different inversion of the C chord. And I think of modes a lot like that. They're inversions, but instead of being an inversion of a chord that's only 3 notes, they're inversions of scales that are 7 notes now. And basically, it's based around do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. If you know how to sing, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And excuse my sucky voice, because I am not a singer, but I am a guitar player, and I do find that I am able to sing through that a little better. But if you can do that, then you kind of have an understanding of what that is. And I choose the key of A for the purposes of this video because every guitar player has had that situation where they walk into the blues jam and they call the key of A. So I'm just going to call it, hey, let's do key of A. And I'll gear all of these modes to the key of A today. But I'd also like to talk about their relationship to each other, which kind of goes outside of the key of A too. So that said, if you know that scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, the next step, if you can do that fingering, then the next step is to figure it out 1 octave higher. And I'll talk about the fingering there in a second. And then if you can do that, another octave. Find all 3 of those because the next step is going to be connecting. Before I go into that, let's talk about what that is. Now, on the guitar, there's a couple of different shapes you could do to do this, but we'll talk about just which notes are happening. It's the root, second, third is going to be here. I typically cross a string, though you could also play it right there. Right there. Your 4th, 5th, 6th. Again, I cross typically, but you could definitely play it there, and I do play it there quite often. 6, 7, and your octave. If you want to continue up that scale, the shape that I have written in my packet is this. second finger, fourth finger. 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1. I'm sorry, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. And then you'd want to practice doing that forwards and backwards. And you're not really practicing for speed. I understand I did that like kind of quick just now. I would not practice it that way in the beginning. You're really practicing it to get an understanding of the notes, because if you don't do it for the understanding of the notes, you'll become locked in the shape. So the best way I think to do that from there, once you understand where everything goes, where those notes are perfectly, and so do it like this. Like, I'm gonna look at you right in the eye right now. I do not need to look at my guitar for this to happen. I'm very, very aware of the spatial relationships between everything, and that's just because I've worked on it for years. It's got nothing to do with any kind of secret talent that I have or anything like that. It's just practice. But once you figure that out, the next step, before getting into any other shapes, I think, is to do that same scale on every single string of your instrument. Right? And again, I can look right at the camera as I'm doing this. Right? Same thing. Ooh, I'm doing a Lydian scale. Sorry, I moved strings. Right? Right? Same thing. Everywhere. Right? Same thing. Be able to do it on every string that way, because you can learn things basically in three ways. You can learn it in up and down motion, you can learn it up the neck, or you can do a combination. And I really love doing combinations because they give you, again, a really, really special understanding of it. So if you want to think about like the relationship of different ways you can play fifth to sixth. And that kind of opens up a motif that would have just been this to something that, again, you saw what I just did. It covered the entire span of the instrument. And if you can understand the fretboard in that way, it just unlocks so much of it for you. Not that you have to play what I play, or that you have to play things in the exact style that I play in, or any of that, but that it should at least be to that level of understanding that, you know, if I'm doing this using the fifth note and the sixth note like I was doing, say you choose the third and the fifth, right? That's just a whole other two notes, but just know where they are, you know? Right? Just to have that understanding of it is going to open up your ability to interpret and to do a lot. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other modes, the modes that exist. I'm going to kind of run through them a little bit quick because I don't think that the shapes are that important. And I also don't think that the names are that important. I think it's more important to understand which scale degree you're going from, which inversion of the mode you're going through at that moment, if that makes sense. So if you're thinking about that same mode from the second degree, technically that would be right here, right? There's my second. So that shape looks kind of like this. It's kind of like a pentatonic scale with two added notes. There's an added note, and then it happens again in octave higher. This is the instant Santana scale. secret Santana chord progression right there. But that's Dorian. Phrygian would take place from the third scale degree, and it's got a flat 2 and a flat 6 in it, but otherwise is also kind of like the Dorian, kind of a pentatonic. So there's this pentatonic, there's a note in between. That's pentatonic, there's an extra note. That's pentatonic, there's my extra note, right? Right, and now is maybe a good time to talk about the fact that the Phrygian scale, in my opinion, it just doesn't really sound that great. Here's a Phrygian sounding thing. And I recorded myself there, but you can see that this note with that on top of it is just not a super pleasant sound to have. Let's see if I can do that in another octave. Ooh, it's got like very like spicy. So I wouldn't necessarily gravitate to a song that does that. That said, the Phrygian shape can be super, super useful. And I'm super guilty of when guitar players call, hey, let's do a tune in Phrygian, of changing all my chords so that the song doesn't sound Phrygian anymore. And what's funny is I always get away with it because the music sounds better, and because whoever that guitar player was that really wanted to just play Phrygian that day actually was satisfied in playing their Phrygian technique, because the rest of everything that was happening wasn't Phrygian, so they didn't have to do that. So I'll show you what that looks like too. So a way that I would harmonize that, again, key of A is where we started. So this is just the third scale degree in the key of A, right? So see right away, it really doesn't sound Phrygian anymore at all. That's an Ionian scale. I'm do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do all over again. And it's because I've just changed the harmony. So that's going to kind of bring me to my next point here. I'd like to go through all the rest of them, but I'm going to start running out of time. I've already gone for a long time already. But as they go through, they're really just climbing up inversion that same way. If you're interested in knowing what they all are, please do go to musicmakerlessons.com. Just go there, type it in that search bar right now, musicmakerlessons.com. It's all spelled correctly, but just no spaces in between and with a little .com afterwards. musicmakerlessons.com. Also read the little logo. I'm going to put a logo somewhere in here. musicmakerlessons.com. Go there, sign up for the online lessons. It's actually a really, really great package. If you sign up for one lesson, I think it charges you, but if you sign up for the month, it'll let you do the first week for free. And if you want to come back for more, please do. But if you just want to come and get the packet and go digest that for a little bit too, totally get that, and you'll get a little bit of a lesson, a one-on-one lesson out of it too. So go there, sign up, click on things, check it out, and I'll get you the info. But let's talk about that other way to practice modes here while we're at it too. So here's the other way that I think about them, because you're going to get a different flavor from playing the root note of each mode. Like that Phrygian one, like we said, it sounded pretty spicy. Locrian, that 7th scale degree, that's another one that sounds very, very weird. Like if somebody told me they wanted to like have a Locrian jam for the duration of an entire song would be absolute torture for me. Where like the harmony was all Locrian, like gross. That sounds disgusting. But that said, if you're playing Locrian over something else, like something that's maybe Ionian flavored harmony, or something that's maybe Dorian flavored harmony, any other flavor of harmony that's pleasing to our ear is going to be really, really helpful. So that said, here's how I kind of practice them. I'm going to kind of start the loop again and just kind of go through each one as I play. So that said, here's a loop again. By the way, I'm playing the 1 chord and the 4 chord. If you're interested in what this chord progression is, it's like pretty elementary one, but if I need to say it, that's what it is. And again, just in the key of A. So it's an A chord and a D chord. All right, so I'll start with that 1, right? Ionian. To drift up, so I'm going to go into that 2nd scale, right? From the 2nd scale degree, and here's Dorian. And I'm kind of in Phrygian now, so I'll go back there. This one's got a sharp 4 in it. It's kind of like a do-re-mi scale, but sharp 4. Mixolydian, number 5. Aeolian scale. Locrian, and again, it's going to sound really nice. Normally it would not sound nice at all, but because I've got these nice pretty chords playing, it's going to sound beautiful. Up into Ionian. And then if you have more frets, you can go even further, but my strat ends after the next Dorian. So I'm going to go ahead and take this time to bring us back full circle to the beginning of the video, because I realized as I was just listening back to that bit that I got locked into that same trap that guitar players always get locked into when you start to do a shape. And I'm guilty of doing it just now, so I apologize. But that trap is that my playing got really, really stale because I was playing in a shape. And whenever you play to a shape instead of playing to the understanding of your notes, your playing suffers as a result of that, as a direct result. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna actually let's do this one more time, and I'm gonna play incorporating everything. So here's what we're doing. It's three levels. It's knowing the shape up and down the strings. It's knowing the shape up and down the neck, and it's also knowing which scale degrees so that if you have a motivic idea, you can play it in multiple octaves, right? So it's up and down the strings, up and down the neck, play it in 3 octaves. Yeah, if you can do all those things, then you'll have a really, really greater, deeper understanding of everything that's going on. So I'm going to play really quick what that sounds like. So I'm going to now take this time and take this opportunity to say thank you for tuning in. Please do, again, subscribe to the channel. And please do visit musicmakerlessons.com. I would love to see you in person. And send you my packet of doom so that you can get to work. All right. Thank you.